Hi, hope you're having a good day. Today I would like to talk about the prep centers for Amazon FBA. It was requested, it was a comment on my previous video, but somebody sent me a direct message as well if I could talk about the prep centers. So here it is. And if you're new, my name is Simona. I'm a six-figure Amazon seller in UK. And I'm doing it as a side hustle still, as Amazon is not my full-time income. So let's dive into this. First, I would still address the question which I'm getting, and that is, can I just send products directly from a retailer to Amazon? No, you can't. You need to place an order and it needs to be delivered either to your home address or to a prep center address. Every product needs to be prepped according to Amazon requirements, and that means either to be put in a poly bag or bubble wrap. But most of them, not most of them, all of them need to have a barcode, the Finsku barcode, which is actually the one which will be generated via your seller account. So no, you can't just send your product directly from retailer to Amazon. So today I would like to talk about the prep center. Should you use one? Should you use one straight from beginning, or when you should outsource to prep center? So let's get into this. And by the way, if you enjoy this video, please subscribe to my channel, like, comment. I'm here to help everybody to make their first sale on Amazon. So let's talk about the prep centers. Who are they? They are the third-party warehouses which will manage your stock for Amazon FBA. Should you use one straight from beginning? I would say it depends. It depends on your budget, because you will obviously pay them. And I will show you later the prep center I work with and their prices. And I will show you the other prep centers in UK, which I know other sellers are using and are happy with them. So as I said, should you start your Amazon journey straight away using the prep center? When I started, I didn't, because obviously I wanted to save money, because as I mentioned, on average, say, you will pay a prep center, say about 60-70p per item, and you need to pay them even if the item doesn't sell or when the price tanks. So you need to keep all these things in mind when deciding if you want to use a prep center. I did prep myself for a year when I started, because obviously I wanted to save money. But now I am using a prep center. I started using one since August last year, because I wanted to be ready for Q4, and I knew I wouldn't be able to cope with the volume of the orders. So if your budget allows it, you can start using prep center from the start. I sometimes think it's nice to first do a little prep yourself, so you can learn actually the process, how to create the shipment, and what prep is required for each product, because it can be different for each product. Sometimes it makes sense and sometimes it doesn't make sense what Amazon really want. I definitely, when I started, I think, over prepping. I was really putting nearly everything in a poly bag, even if it didn't need it. Now I am using prep center, but on occasion I send about one box myself a week, sometimes in 2 weeks, because I just hate it now. But yeah, if you pick up something in your local stores when you're doing retail arbitrage, you might still want to know how to prep the items, how to create the shipment, and about the whole process. As mentioned, I myself started using a prep center last August in 2020 because I wanted to be ready for Q4, and I would always advise to plan ahead if you're planning to use the prep center. We are now nearly end of October, and many prep centers won't be taking any new clients because they know that their current clients will be sending a lot of volume, and they just don't want to be overworked, and they want to obviously stick to whatever they promise to their existing customers. So here on the screen, we can see the most common things which you should keep in mind when deciding to choose a prep center. And first of all would be the speed they can turn over your stock. Many prep center will say that their turnaround of your stock is anything between 24 to 48 hours. In a Q4, it can be longer, but it's just understandable. Me personally, I never check how quick they send my stock in because it's still quicker than if I was doing it myself. I just focus on ordering more. Another thing you should be looking at when working with a prep center is their communication. And I think a lot of sellers worked with prep centers and they were not happy. They were saying there was a poor communication. My prep center, we communicate via Slack. So they do send me messages on the phone, which most of the time you just get a notification, because I have an Apple Watch as well. I just get a notification on my watch so I can reply immediately. And even if I have any inquiries, for example, I have Ocado delivery, and you only in the morning of the day of the delivery, you find out there will be some substitutes. So I just send them a message straight in the morning, say there will be Ocado delivery today, the time, and this and this is substitute. Can you please refuse it? And they do, because I just then afternoon received an email from Ocado saying, oh, okay, we refunded you for these items. The other day actually happened to me that the whole order from Ocado, it was the wrong order, it was the repeated order, and I just didn't like it because many of the products already tanked. So I just sent them a message straight away in the morning. I said, please, can you refuse the whole order? And even he replied back to me, are you sure? You sure you don't want to keep something? And I was like, no, please refuse everything. And it was like, no problem. So yeah, communication is really a big thing. Another factor to choose a prep center would be a price. Obviously, you want to pay as least as possible. We all want to keep as much profit as we can, but sometimes if it's cheap, it doesn't mean it will be a good service. As I said, on average, I think everybody charge around 60p per unit, but we can have a look at it later. But yeah, as I wouldn't going just for the cheapest one, if it makes sense. I do get a question if the location matters when to choose the prep center. No, it does not really matter, but what does matter, I did ask them when I started working with mine, are they able to receive the supermarket's delivery, or do they know about any restrictions? I know some prep center which they told me they can't take the Tesco delivery, for example. Tesco doesn't like them. So that would be my question to a prep center. Some sellers are worried that the people at a prep center are sellers themselves. To me, it just never occurs. I just, decided to use one because it's more convenient for me. I know guys in my prep center are sellers, but honestly, I've seen them probably on one or two of my listings, and we all get sales at the end of the day. I don't see it any different than anybody else talking your store and just find the items and sell them as well. So this thing doesn't bother me, to be honest. Another red flag with the prep center could be that they are not familiar with Amazon prep requirements, which can cause trouble on your account. You will be getting a lot of inbound performance notification from Amazon saying, for example, this was not prepped properly, blah, blah, blah. At the moment, I don't think Amazon really, that this metric somehow affects your account health, but with Amazon, you just never know. And at the end of the day, you want to work with somebody who know how to do the work properly, obviously. And the last thing, and I actually got it asked the other day as well, what's my ROI when I'm using the prep center? And I still work around about 30% of ROI, even using the prep center. In a summer, in a slower month, when I was actually even getting rid of a lot of stock, my ROI was about 20%, but that's very realistic. I mean, that's realistic. That's how it is. There is one thing I forgot to put on this sheet when I wanted to talk about the prep center, but it just came into my mind. And that is, unfortunately, there will be sellers whose accounts been suspended and they worked with a prep center. And the prep center address somehow will be linked to your seller account and you might get suspended as well. Unfortunately, I know one person who that happened very recently, and I'm really sorry if you're watching that it happened to you. I really was not aware this is actually even a thing. To be honest, I don't think the prep center is responsible to inform anybody that they might have worked in the past with a seller who got suspended. But I researched one Facebook group where actually another seller mentioned it, because, but to be honest, I never heard of this to happen, but somebody else mentioned it. And as I said, I know now somebody this happened. So yeah, is it risky? I guess, well, to be honest, all Amazon business is risky, and it's just really up to if you are willing to take up on that risk or not. So here we are. This is the first prep center which I see across the Facebook groups being recommended. So another one is this one. Actually, could go back to that one. Or we can have a look. I move myself here. Do they have a FBA packages? So we can have a look and you can get an idea about their prices. So we create the shipment. That's another thing about prep center maybe to consider, and that was a deal breaker for me, was will they create a shipment for me? What does it mean? They will get a partial access to your seller account, and once they have the box, which like 15 kilo box, which is ready to be shipped, they can go to your seller central, create the shipment, print the labels, and send the shipment themselves. Some prep center, I actually can put it in here. I know they don't work that way. They will still send you a Google Sheet. You will then have to create the shipment yourself and then send them over the labels and the box label, which can be a bit time consuming, and you can lose on sometimes if you are working and don't have access to a computer, or you can't do it immediately. So yeah, so this was for me really a deal breaker. I wanted one which would do the shipment as go, really, you know. I don't mind they have a partial access to my account. So we can see here this prep center, what is it, Best Prep UK, this is their packages. So obviously they have some setup fee, and we can see they have pricing depending how many units you will be sending via them per month. So it's a 50p standard, 250 per box if you want to send by pallet, and that's all prep included. Another prep center here, we have this one, Blue 30. You can check on their pricing. You can see what they do. There we are. I'll just move myself again. So they have a different, so they have a fixed £30 per month membership, no joining fee. Okay, so the other one had a joining fee but not a monthly membership. This one has a monthly membership, and we can see that it depends what prep the product needs. So if only just a label, that's 55 pence. If it needs to go to polybag, 60, polybag and bubble wrap, 65, and bundle is 70p. Boxes are £3. Yeah, and that's for 0 to 500. And then again, it depends how many units you're sending. It gets cheaper by 5p. Another prep center here, we have Prepped for You. I have a couple of friends using actually this one. So you all get here all the sorry, I forgot what I was saying. Did they have a price list here? There we are. So the sign up fee is £49.99, so 50 quid. Up to 1,000 units is a 50p per unit, all prep included, and 70 pence per bundle. So that means even polybagged and bubble wrapped. And then if you're sending more, it's £2 per box. I think they're actually cheaper than mine. No monthly subscription, and that was just a monthly setup, right? Yeah, sign up 50 quid. So there we are. So this is another one. Apex FBA services, and here are their plans. So you can do pay as you go, obviously. This is a prep center I'm using myself, Midlands Fulfillment. They're based in Coventry. Do they have the prices? Become a member. I'll just move myself. I started with them before they had all this, so my prices are actually a little bit different to what they charge now. How does it work? As I said, you order something from, say, for example, Ocado or Argos or whatever. You share a Google Sheet with your prep center. Mine looks like this. You can actually see this is October. Obviously, I scroll up, you can't see my items, but this is so far how many units they shipped for me this month, and how much my invoice is going to be in total. I can see how many boxes they send, but what I'll do, I just put here order date, order number. After I get an email confirmation, I put here a store name, and then I put here a title of the product, the ASIN. I am not putting the SKU, and then I'm just putting there I order 10. So then I put here 10. If it would be a bundle and I order 30 and it's a bundle of 3, and then I would put in this one that it's 10. And then I can see the shipments they created for me, unfulfilled label, you know what, inventory, and then removals. I'm not using my prep center for removals. Any removals I'm creating from Amazon, I have delivered to my own home address because I live in UK, but I do have a friend who is not, so he obviously, any removals go to the prep center, and I think that's what was on their website. They charging for this service as well. So as I said, it can be using the prep center. It's obviously an additional expense, but if you want to grow your business, you will need to use a prep center at certain stage, unless you're willing to have your own warehouse and doing your own work. If the Amazon will become your full-time income source. For me, using the prep center also created a freedom. So I don't have to source and then as well prep. I decided to outsource the prep center first, because as I said, I don't want to be my house be filled with the boxes. I don't want to be having here UPS guy turning up, you know, at the end of the day. I don't want to be evicted from my house. So it's really up to you. And again, should you use it from the start? It depends on your budget. I used to love prepping when I used to prep myself. Once I started using the prep center, I find it a really hard task to put even one box together. And when we look at the cost as well, if you think of it, how long it will take you to prep your items, create the shipping, label them, pack and drop off the box. Is it really worth, or is it, no, is it, what I mean, is it really that much difference? As I said to you, I do have a friends who are prepping themselves and they still put in their cost of goods as an additional cost for prep, additional 50 or 60p. And then you have to buy your own boxes. You have to buy your own parcel tapes, bubble wrap, poly bags or polybag sheets. You know, so to be honest, I don't think it's actually using the prep center is that expensive if you would really time your time, like include your time doing the prep, if that makes sense. Because I'm using for my sourcing SaaS seller AMP, you can set in your settings the prep fee. I put here 80p, which is without VAT. So I consider a £1 for a prep, and that will cover the boxes, shipment, and even some customer returns. So I rather see I'm making less profit, but I actually might make more if it makes sense, because I already have that in my settings. If I found this product, it's a little bit slow. It's just raining in Wales. So yeah, so if I put here that this item, and as well, the SaaS will give me the maximal cost because it already takes into consideration my prep fee set. So if I put here that this item I can source for £20 and sell for 39, my profit would be already 685, and that's already included the prep fee. So if I did not have any settings in there, the profit will be higher, if it then makes sense. So when I'm sourcing, I already sourcing in a mind that I'm using the prep center and the cost of the prep. And to be honest, even if you're not using a prep center, I still think you should have in your settings some prep fee, because as mentioned, you will be still buying prep supplies and your time. So that can give you then a better idea of your profit and if it's really worth your effort, all this Amazon FBA stuff. So hope this answers some of your questions, and if you like this video, you know what to do. Thank you for watching, and I will speak to you soon. Bye bye.